Maikona, Aetoe, Aetoe,
I had prayed. Maybe I should say this first. I'm a believer in Christ, Jesus. I'm of the Christian faith or Pentecostal faith. I have had an experience with Christ when I was 16. Otherwise, I think I would probably be dead by now because I came from a long line of alcoholics. I loved all my people, but alcohol was really prevalent in our family. So when I had that experience with Christ, it changed my life. I was 16, and I had been invited to go to this church. It was the Assembly of God Church in Topeka. We lived in Topeka then. And so I was real rebellious. I had started drinking and running around and just wild. I was just a wild child. And so, and my mother had drank at that time. She was drinking. But she wanted me to go to church so bad. And then my aunt had always prayed for us. And Mama had prayed because Mama had known the Lord too. And so that particular Sunday, they had asked me to go. And I said, well, maybe I would. And my sister had asked our mother if she would go. And she said, yes, I'll go. And I told her, if you go, Mom, I'll go. So I went to church that night, and my mom was there, and they preached a wonderful sermon. I can't tell you what it was about. But I just know that I needed this Christ that they were preaching about. I needed Jesus to live in me. Because I knew that my life, if I didn't have him, I didn't know where my life was going to end up. And so I started crying. And I remember when they gave the invitation to come to the altar, I was sitting in that pew by my mom, and, you know, in that, the pew, and my mom reached over and took my hand and led me down to the altar. And so I knelt at the altar and I prayed, and Christ came into my heart, and it was as if, the only way I can explain it is how it happened to me. My eyes were closed and I was praying, but I felt like I was transferred to a spiritual realm. But it was if I was in the throne room of God, like I was there with him. And the glory was just, I mean, it was so bright. The light that I was in was so bright. It was just nothing. There's no lights on earth like that. And when I finally quit praying and had accepted Jesus into my heart and opened my eyes, it was like my eyes had to adjust to the light in that building, and I was not the same. And you know, no, I was going to say, no, it wasn't then, but I was not the same. I was absolutely, if ever I knew God was real, I knew he was real then. And I knew that he lived in my heart, and he lived in me. And I can remember every time the church doors were open, I was there. You know, because I knew he would be there. I knew that when I went, I would, be in his presence. So I can remember lots of times walking to church and barely remembering the walk because I was so excited to get there that I might be in his presence. And from that point on, then I, followed Christ. Well, and then like I said, I mean, I still loved our Indian ways. My mother was a full blood. I loved our people. My desire was to share what I had with them, to share this truth and this knowledge, with them that He is real.
Bakoje inage Yahweh, Yahweh, my kona, aetowe, Yahweh.